board. It's prosperity across the board. It's freedom. This is freedom, how you define freedom. That's why I always say I feel like a spoiled brat. Well, I've got a sense of liberty. Liberty and freedom go hand in hand. Okay, that's it. I don't have financial wealth and assets. But what I have to me is better, far better. I mean, how can you put a price on having a low cost of living? I have a low burden. I have a low tax rate. And I like it like that. Okay. But, as far as stuff goes, I've got a hell of a lot more. It's all relative. It's all a subjective thing. I mean, I'm not going to die out on the streets tonight. So, yeah, I feel like a spoiled brat even in terms of material things. I worry that thieves will break in and steal. Just the same stuff everybody else that considers themselves rich. But am I rich? I mean, if most Americans could look at my personal finances, you'd say, what a joke. What a joke. This guy is an idiot. He thinks he's rich. He thinks that there's thieves that want what he has. But I know the score. I know that that's the reality. So who's really living in the 2 plus 2 equals 4 land? Who's being logical? I feel like I am. But the way the world thinks is contrary to the way God thinks, okay? And this conversation started about loving our enemies. Yes, I think people have a really hard time with that. I think they have a really hard time with the passage where Jesus says, look, whatever you do or fail to do for the least of men, you have done or failed to do for me. So we are to try to, what does that mean? Interpret the least of men. Is that the baby in the womb? Is that a homeless person? However you interpret it, Jesus said, look, if you neglect that person's needs, okay, and look down on them, you're an elitist, you're a hypocrite, and you're on your way to hell. It's that simple. That's a 2 plus 2. Because the state of your heart is impure. You will not see God. You don't know God. Even though you might call on Jesus, you don't know him. Unless you at least confess that. Even if you fail, miserably fail, that's not the point. It's a state of your heart. What do you want? What do you want? Are you willing that God's will be etched in your mind and in your heart, and that he readies you, that that he convicts you in whatever way and helps you to grow, even though it might be painful, it might feel like surgery at times, but you're willing to do it. And that's the distinction. That's what's going to get you into a better realm, a better world, is if you feel deserving, if your heart is pure and clean, and you say, let God's will be done, not just on the earth, but in your heart and in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul, your essence. And then you start cultivating the reality that is to come and understanding it's not hidden. Jesus and God's teachings in the Bible are not occult. They're not. He wants us to know so that we could be empowered with that knowledge and go forth and spread the good news about his character, his nature, his personality, and vindicate his name throughout the land. And Lucifer's got no basis, no argument. But that's what it's like. It's like a court case being heard out here. And we're all like sitting we're either in the room, in the courtroom, or we're in the jury box, or we're working in the court system, but we're all part of this whole scene. And it's good against evil. It really is. At the end of the day, it's a spiritual war that we're having here. And it's a psychological, it's a psycho-spiritual warfare that's going on. This gaslighting has morphed into this monster that's attacking all of us. And believe me, I get my share. Believe me, sometimes I wish that my mind wasn't always racing. Okay, I do landscape. I do a menial job, but it's artistic. I enjoy it. It's creative. I enjoy it. I can see the results. I enjoy it. I do it. It's what I got hooked on, and I've kept doing it as an independent, freelance, self-employed. So it's not really a business. I'm just self-employed. It's that simple. So no big deal. You can call me an entrepreneur, but I mean, we're all entrepreneurs. We all have to sell ourselves to somebody, right? So you put an ad in the paper, and you got to have the equipment to do it with. But that's not the point. The point is it's a mindless thing that I can try to stop thinking. Though sometimes when my mind is racing, I feel compelled. I've got a notebook in my pocket. I've got to stop for a minute and write a thought down. So it's real tough for me to just shut down, and I wish I could. I wish I could just be stupid sometimes and just be content to sports and entertainment and dating and whatever else. I can't. Okay, partying, because I believe me, I can party with the best. I mean, I'm not into orgiastic party, any of that kind of crap. I'm not a swinger, not into that stuff. But I mean, I can have a beer or two with you and have a good conversation, not always talk about just serious stuff. And I wish I could be a witty, funny guy. I really do, because I really admire those kind of people. I really love them. When I think about them affectionately and fondly. People that make me laugh, and they're lighthearted. And I really wish I had that quality more, but I feel like I'm given a different task in life. Mine is one of a very serious nature. I'm really trying to knock people upside the head with the things I say to provoke them into thinking for themselves, and to really put two and two together and say, yes, it's true. It always equals four. He knows how to define progress. That's all I'm saying. And you can too. And that's empowering. And I just learned it from God. I just learned it from Jesus. I just learned it from the Bible. We all learn stuff from other people, but it's all condensed information. Imagine you can have everything Adam Smith taught at your finger. You have that now. All that. He devoted his life. Now you have it. You see how it's exponential, how we're supposed to be growing as a species, as truth and knowledge and wisdom is all available ubiquitously to everyone. We're all without excuse. So it's kind of scary. I've got like the fear of God in my soul, that people just don't understand this stuff, that I'm failing, okay, as an individual, as a preacher, a teacher, as just a good brother. Because really at the end, that's all I want to be. I don't ever want to be famous. I don't care about that. I do want to contribute, and I've got a whole lot. As you can see, I think a lot. So I've got a lot of innovations that a lot of people would bless me for, not even knowing who they're blessing, but I'd know, hey, I'm really grateful for this innovation. You don't have to know who did it. Let's share. I got it from him. I learned, well, this guy this, that guy that, and just don't care. All I care is about going to a better world from here, because I ain't staying here. None of us are. Okay? Today may be the last day of our lives. You know? That's it. That's the reality we have to live with. Is that a negative? Is that a downer? I don't think so. I think it's exhilarating. And we need to cling on to that, seize that imperative reality that we all face, the unknown, that all the people that have come and gone before us, the multitudes, they've walked through a door that we haven't. That's why people always say respect the dead, because yes, always respect the dead. They have walked through a door that we haven't. How are we going to go? Are we going to go kicking and screaming and freaking out about, all the possessions we're going to leave behind and how upset we are? But I mean, how is it going to be for us? Or are we going to be like Jesus? Into your hands I commit my spirit. That's what I want to be like. So all I'm saying is that we have a little window of time here to be the people we want to be. Exactly, down to the smallest detail. Be the character. Don't compromise. Be true to yourself. And if you have stumbled upon the fact that you understand logic from illogic, truth from fiction, progress from regress, that 2 + 2 = 4, that you understand mathematics, and that you're willing to not only behold the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, but to espouse the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as best as you honestly know it. Now, you're going to meet people that disagree with you, and some are going to be deceivers. They're going to know the truth, but they're going to try to gaslight you. They're going to try to tell you that you're wrong, and that they're going to act convinced that they believe what they believe. And we can't judge those people. I don't know who they are. That's just beyond my capacity to understand. I can't really, because it freaks me out, quite frankly. Okay, because it's just this whole idea of worshiping evil, bad, and just wanting bad to stay in charge forever, and just to make the lives of the good more and more miserable into perpetuity forever. I mean, it's a madness. It's illogic. It can't work. It's like any kind of pyramid scheme that's bound to destruction from the beginning. But that's what Satan's plan is. He knows he can't really overtake God, but he's going to keep acting like he can and convincing other people, human beings, because misery loves company. He's after the souls of men, competing with God for the souls of men. He's going to convince you that there's hope, that evil can prevail in the land through murder, through lying and cheating and stealing and genocide, and just somehow. But that's how I see the economic system in America today and around the world. There's no place to run. Yeah, America's the best block in a bad neighborhood, and Alex Jones is the best block in a bad neighborhood, and InfoWars is the best block in a bad neighborhood. That's why to this day I still carry my InfoWars bumper sticker on my car, even though I'm probably Alex Jones's biggest dissenter. I mean, but I'm also probably his best friend. That's what I think. And who better to be the guy that's got to tell him the score? Okay, but some guy sitting back in the shadow, some nobody, okay, with minuscule amount of views on YouTube. I don't care though, because I know, like leaven in the dough, it's going to spread. If somebody catches it, they say, look, it rings true. He's pointing out something that nobody else is pointing out, and I've got to do it. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay, buying into this idea that higher housing costs are good. I mean, I'm all for an array of different classifications of housing. I don't care how many mansions people want. I'm down. I'm for it. Okay, I support everybody that that wants to live the life of Riley. Okay, I'm on everybody's side. That's my choice. That's my prerogative, just as it is yours. Okay, that's one of those subjective, nebulous, ambiguous areas. So that's not the point here. The point is that the basic cost of living for human beings, okay, which has to include essential human needs. Among those are energy needs, food needs, water needs, and shelter needs. And those things are the most pernicious of all taxes. That is the cost of living. And you want those things to go in one direction, down. Okay, that's it. So this idea that housing prices being high, because Alex was reading from this article, I don't know, just touting the economic virtues and successes of Donald Trump. And I've pointed out for years now about this lag period, okay, between the policies of one and the other. So in my mind, this whole stock market boom is just money coming out from underneath the mattresses, as a metaphor, during the crimes, the 2008 bailout. All that money, where do you think it went? It went into these criminal classes' pockets. Why do you think 90% of the American people were opposed to it? So that's what I know to be true, okay, is that there's a lot more going on. There's a lag period. And, Donald Trump, maybe it is. I don't know. We could have some debate over this thing, but nobody can say for sure why the stock market is suddenly doing what it did. Okay, but Obama, remember, he spent $10 trillion in his 8 years. So that money went somewhere. And the idea that's coming back so these, crooked investors can parlay it. It's not benefiting me. I don't see, it's not in circulation in the local community. So it's not helping Main Street. If you live in some big bustling boomtown city, you might think you're benefiting. But remember, boomtowns are always temporary anyhow. And it just gives opportunity to the vultures to come into your town and to snap up your housing. That's coveted by you struggling young families trying to get ahead, trying to enter the middle class. Do you understand? But this is the kind of stuff. This is why I get on the cases of guys like Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's because I know what it's all about. I've learned real estate. I've jumped through the hoops to learn it. I know it. I was the guy teaching the teacher. I was the guy teaching the students in the class. Okay, I understand. I'm the guy that actually read every word that Adam Smith wrote. Okay, I know truth from fiction, truth from lies, reality from unreality, logic from illogic. 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, I know that. And that is all I'm saying here. I'm not so smart. But, it's just a matter of saying, yeah, I'm bound and determined to be honest. And if I can't be honest with people, then, what the hell is the sense of, who are you at the end of the day? You're a liar. So if you can't be true to yourself, how are you ever going to be true? How's anybody going to ever know who you are? How's God going to ever know who you are? We've got to have some substance. So we've got to be unwilling to compromise. Well, we'll sin for free. We'll pay to sin, okay, sometimes. But you see, the difference is it's like that 90% of Americans that were against the bailout, or the studies that have shown 95% of Americans won't steal. They're honest if given a choice, and they can get away with stealing. They won't do it. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to tap into. That's a beautiful thing. And that's what we're going to take over this world with. That's the Spirit of God. That's being his foot soldiers, his hands and feet, his eyes and ears on the ground. Is just cleaving to the understanding that we have good inherent in us, and it can empower us to just, like that song by Ted Nugent, stranglehold. If a house gets in my way, whatever that obstacle is, we know what it is. The devil's in the details. We're dealing with diabolistic people, underhanded to the nth degree. Nothing that these people won't do. Murder, to them it's like falling off a log. So, very easy for them, because these people want to commit genocide. So they write books openly. I mean, look at the Georgia Guidestones. I mean, if that's not a perfect citation, I don't know what is. But they want to get the Earth down to 500 million. We need to understand the monsters we're up against here. These FEMA coffins that were four bodies to a coffin. They want to kill us in mass. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, you know what? I'm here for a little while, okay, and I feel like I'm running in the sand. And science has shown I'm using, maybe 10% of my brain. So we're all experiencing about 10%, scientifically proven.